So this evening it is relaxation with a roller. We're actually going to start in a child pose position. I'm going to go wide knees because if you follow me a while, you know I like to double up my stretching. So this is actually a stretch for shoulders and back, but by taking the knees really wide, keeping the toes together, and then sitting back, and then starting to lift your tailbone, you'll actually get an inner thigh stretch as well. Now, if you don't want that, just go a little bit narrow with the knees. Have your roller in front of you, fingertips on the roller, and all we're going to do to start is just roll away. As you do, the roller's going to come up under your forearms, and you're going to press your head down into the floor, and then you're going to come back in. So it's like a little roll out for the back, a nice shoulder stretch, and then back in. And like I say, keep the tailbone lifted so that when you come down, this increases this hip stretch. And we're just going to do a few of these and just get our breathing. So big breaths in through the nose and then out through the mouth. Inhale, come back. Exhale out. Inhale. Now, if it's too strong for you with the roller underneath your forearms, you can just walk it out so that you've got your fingertips on it. Because by having your arms up on the roller, obviously you're going to increase the stretch through the shoulders. So if it's too much, just keep the fingertips on the roller and then roll it in and out by walking it. All right. We're going to do two more. Out and then in. On this last one, we're going to pause and hold. So coming out, just coming down, and just start to take your weight side to side. So keep the breath flowing and just see what it feels like. I know sometimes it feels more challenging on one side than the other. It certainly does for me. One side's always a little bit tighter. It's okay, just keep breathing through that. And if you have done a session with rollers with me before, you'll know, I've said this before, it's supposed to elicit a really nice positive response in your nervous system. So there really isn't any benefit to rolling through pain because generally that doesn't elicit a nice positive response in your nervous system. So if you do get pain, either stop or just take off the pressure from the roller so that it's not as intense for you. Just a little pre-warning even, before we go on to the next one. And then when you're ready, come back in. And then we're going to come out onto our tummies, but we're going to leave the roller underneath our leg. So let's do our the leg closest to me to start so you can see what you're doing. The other leg is just going to hold your weight off the floor a little bit. So you've only got it under one side. That way, when you roll up and down, you can take some of the pressure off it if it feels tight. Because like I say, you don't want pain. There might be that sort of nice sensation of discomfort, if you know what I mean, sort of that nice pain, if that's possible. But if you've stretched and it's really tight, but sometimes that can feel nice. And if that's the case, then fine. But pain where you're gritting your teeth and you really aren't enjoying it really isn't worth it. Now, just start to move your weight around. So start to take the roller down the outside of the thigh, then down the center of the thigh, and then the outside again. Don't worry too much about the inside because we're going to do that separately in a second. So the outside, and then the center. So don't roll over the knee because that really won't be comfortable. And then we're going to come forward so that the roller is just above the knee. All right. Now, if this is not comfortable, take the roller out and do it on the flat on the floor. But what it's going to do is going to help us increase our stretch here. So what I want you to do is to push the tailbone down to the floor. So squeeze your bottom and then bring the foot in, tuck the tailbone under, and pull the foot towards the bottom, but only after you've squeezed the bottom and pushed the hips into the floor. So just helping us get a bit of a stretch or deeper stretch into the quads and hip flexors. Remember, nice big breaths as you hold this. And like I say, if it's too strong, then just take the roller out. Try and relax the upper body, relax the jaw, because if that tightens up, that tends to tighten up all the way down the neck and back as well. Last couple of breaths holding this. And then release. Take the roller and turn it the other way so that it's lengthways down the mat. And then we're going to put the inner thigh on the roller. So bend the knee up and then you can roll it away and back. So you get the inner thigh. And this can be quite uncomfortable for people. So if it is, just take some of the pressure off by having your foot on the floor. If it's not enough, then you can take the foot off the floor and put a bit more pressure on it. It looks like an awkward one, I know, but once you get it the right position, it's quite nice. Keep shuffling it around if you need to. Good. Last couple of times, and you can say you can lift the foot up a bit more to get a bit more of the top, and you can lower the foot to get a bit further down and around the back, and then come back. Switch sides. We're going to do the same on the other side. So bring it under the quad to start, or quads, I should say. The other leg just props you up, taking as much or as little weight as you want to on that supporting side. Good. And then start to go on the outside of the leg and down the middle. So you're going from the top of the kneecap to the base of the thigh. To the base of the thigh? To the base of the hip. God, you can tell it's in the evening. My brain's gone to sleep. Good. And then come back so that the roller's just above the kneecap. Same thing. Relax the upper body. Squeeze the bottom and push the hips into the floor. And then, if you want to, pull the heel to bottom. But try not to just arch the lower back. Think scoop the tailbone under to create the stretch before you think about pulling the heel to bottom. And then relax the upper body. Take nice, big, relaxing breaths. As you relax into the stretch, you might be able to deepen it. So scoop the tailbone, pull the foot towards the bottom a little bit more. And then gently release off. Let's turn the roller lengthways down the mat so we can get that inner thigh. Bend the knee up and then roll over it and back. And again, you're going from the top of the knee right into the groin. Keep the breath flowing. Remember, don't push into pain. Shuffle the roller around if you need to. Take the pressure off if you need to. Good, last couple. Move the foot up or down depending on where you're trying to target. There is really no right or wrong with the roller in terms of how you do it. Just whatever feels good, to be honest. Good, come back. And then push up. Sweep the legs round in front. And we're going to put the roller behind us. We're going to give the legs a little rest for a second, do the upper back and into the shoulders. So have the roller, if you're wearing a bra, just above your bra strap height. Support your head. If you've got long hair, just get it out of the way because it really hurts if you get caught in the roller. Top tip. Support your head, and then to start with, just arch back over your roller. As you do, think about pulling your belly button down so that we are basically encouraging that stretch into the upper back, which is quite nice if you've been desk working. And then release by bringing the head back up. So we exhale, inhale, exhale. Now, if you've got a knobbly roller that this is uncomfortable to do, then just get a towel and you can lay the towel out and you can still roller on it, but it just means that the knobbles are not quite as intense. From there, pick up your bottom and just do a little bit of up and down, straight up the back and straight back down. Going sort of base of the ribs to base of the neck. And then start to take your weight onto the side closest to me, so you're sort of tilted towards me. And just rub on that side, or roll on that side, I should say. And then we're going to come so that the roller's around about armpit height, so just under the armpit, and you're going to twist towards me. We're going to lengthen out that bottom leg, bend the top one, and just bring the roller so that it is, like I say, sitting under your armpit. That's it. And then you're going to twist away. As you do, it's going to roll and press underneath the back of the shoulder. So we massage that part and then we roll off of it. So we roll open and then we roll back. Again, don't work into pain. If it's really uncomfortable because you're very tight in this part, then just either shuffle it to some other place where it's not quite as intense, or don't go as far as with your rotation, because the further you go with that rotation, the more pressure you're going to put on it. So just don't go quite as far. Twist. Good. And then come back, roll all the way onto your back. Shuffle back into the center. My roller's not quite long enough to roll back and still be on it, so I'm just shuffling back into the center. And then go back up and down. And then we're going to do the same the other way. So start to take your weight onto the other side, so we've got more pressure going down that side as we roll. And then we come so that the roll is underneath the armpit. We twist towards it. We've got the top leg long, bottom leg long, top leg bent. Underneath the armpit with the roller, and then we twist and away. Roll back. So as you open out, your pressure goes onto your roller to massage the back of the shoulder. Nice big breaths as you move. Remember, play around with the positioning of the roller if it's not comfortable or if it's too intense. For 3, for 2, last ones, 1, come back, go onto your back again, sit, last little roll up and down through the middle of the back. Now already for me that feels not as painful, not as uncomfortable, just by doing that a few times and relaxing into it. So if it's still quite intense for you, then try and take some of the weight off by pushing through your feet a bit more, so you lift some of the weight away, or you can just stop and rest back over your roller, and then come so that the roller's back where we started, just above bra strap height, feet come down, and then just take the head back. If you can relax into the floor and take the hands away, then great. Reach them out behind you. If that's too intense, just take one hand so that you can support your arm with the other one. And we're going to circle the arms, so sweep them round and down. You're trying to go as close to the floor as possible. So if you're obviously doing one hand with the other hand supporting, we're going to do 3, 2, 1. Go back the other way with those circles, and then if you're doing single arm, we'll switch arms and then we'll do the other side as well. If you're doing double arm, then you just do both twice, obviously. 2, 1. Good. Now go back the other way. So if you're single arm, switch arms and do the other arm. So support with one hand and circle the other one. 3, 2, 1. Let's go back the other way for 3. Try and get the arms as close to the floor as possible so we really get that chest stretch as the arms go wide. And last ones. Finish with the arms in like a Y shape, so just above crucifix. Again, if you're doing single arm, do one arm and then we'll switch. We're going to take 3 big breaths here. Try and gently press your lower back towards the floor so that we again press the stretch into the upper back. If you're single arm, then switch arms, support the head with the other hand and reach the other arm away. We'll do 3 big breaths here. Lovely. Last one. And then bring both hands behind the head so that we can gently come back up. So we release off nice and slow. Hold on to one knee, and then as you push the knee into the hand, you can roll up. Get your roller and just come up onto your roller. We're just going to do glutes to finish. So put your right ankle on left thigh and then turn so that you've got your weight on your right side. And then just try and get right up into the top and then right down the bottom. And again, just play around with where your pressure is. So maybe put a little bit more pressure on that right side and then maybe take a little bit off and see where it is for you that feels good. Remember, nice big breaths as you do this. Oh, particularly for me, I'm going to have to keep breathing because although it's not painful, there is that nice discomfort, if that makes sense. I can feel like it's definitely stimulating something. And then we're going to take a stretch here. So come back so you've got your weight even. And you can sit up. You can have your hand on the floor if you need support. And then you're going to push that right knee away. So we take a deeper stretch. So push the right knee away. If that's too intense, move that bottom leg away. And that decreases the intensity. If it's not intense enough, bring that left foot in a little bit more. So that's more intense. That's a little bit easier. Nice big breaths. And then release. We're going to do the same on the other side. So left ankle, right thigh. Had to think about that. Weight onto the left side. And then just roll on that side. And again, just play around with where you're putting the weight so that you can get into the bits that feel good. Avoid the bits that aren't. If you need to, Joe, put your foot further away. It's a little bit less extreme. Oh, is it socks slipping on the carpet? Yeah, I'm really lucky. I cannot rave about this mat enough. It's brilliant. It's one of the Move Well ones, and I absolutely love it. It's so grippy. That doesn't help you. I'm sorry, Joe. Come back to centre. Take your weight into the centre of your roller so you can sit up. Remember, move the foot away to decrease the stretch. Bring it in to increase it, and you're pushing now that left knee away. Nice big breaths. So by rolling first and then stretching, we're getting the blood flow going and promoting that blood flow. And then when we stretch, it's a little bit easier. It feels a little bit nicer. You've warmed up the muscle a little bit. So rolling, if you're cold, like as in you haven't been for a run, you're just coming into your stretching cold, rolling's quite nice for that because it does warm the muscles up slightly so that you are able to stretch a little bit easier from the get-go. You don't need to do tons and tons in terms of time like we've just done this evening. Just a little bit is enough. Release that. And then from there, take your weight forwards. Come over your roller so that you end up with your roller underneath your bottom on the really fatty part of your bottom so that it doesn't hurt too much. And let's take a full body stretch to finish because I quite like this. Nice and tall. Reach your fingers and toes away. And if you're going to do anything, it would be just to start to encourage that lower back down towards the floor. So think belly button to spine, just a little bit so that we open out more across the front rather than just arching through that lower back. So just tilt the pelvis, push the lower back gently towards the floor. Sweep the arms round, just grab hold of one knee, doesn't matter which, we're going to do both. Just pull it into the chest for a moment, leave the other leg long, and just circle the ankle on the side you're holding. Going one way, going back the other way. Release, do the same thing on the other side. Sweep the arms around, hug the knee in, and just a little circle. Oh, sorry about the cracking ankles. One way. And then the other. Oh, that was a corker. Lovely. Finish with both legs long. Lovely. And we are done for this session. So to extract yourself from your roll, if you just bend the knees in, you can lift your bottom up and then hug the knees in. And we are finished.